Oh my god, dude. Holy crap. Holy crap. There's so much going on. Not rereading the Succession War before the new chapters was totally a mistake. And I planned to. I really did want to go back and reread all the chapters. Literally just did not have time before the new chapters came out. But I read this chapter 402 like 3 times. I think I have everything straight. So we're going to try our best here with this review. The best thing about this chapter, I think, is that we get to kind of touch on almost all the princes. We see pretty much all of them except for Hulkenberg, Meriem, and obviously Wobble is with Karapika, but we pretty much get to see a scenario of where all the princes are at this current time and what they're up to, which was a really good recap to have after not having chapters for 2 years. So there's a lot of intricate, crazy things that are happening here. Let's get into it. The first thing that I want to mention is I did forget that this bodyguard, whose name I can never remember, is currently watching Tebepa. He was the character that was able to create a Nen beast that ate the spirit beast of the Prince Saleh Saleh, who was then able to be executed. So this bodyguard has an insanely powerful ability, or an insanely useful ability for this situation. One of my absolute favorite things about Hunter x Hunter is how it's not always about how powerful a character is, it's about how their ability counteracts somebody else's ability, you know? And that's how I love that we can go from the giant stakes of the Chimera Ant arc to doing the stakes of the Succession War, and it feels just as intense because it's not always about who's the strongest, it's just about what you can do and how badly that can screw over somebody else. So he's here watching Tebepa's spirit beast that seemed to appear after she signed the treaty. I believe this is the one with Karapika, so there's a temporary alliance that's happening between their two factions right now. And it's interesting because this bodyguard's ability, you know, kind of shifts. It's not the same thing every time. Like, he has to kind of study the target, you know, and he creates a Nen beast in order to take it out, specifically to that target. So he seemed a little bit suspicious that it just kind of appeared here after she signed the treaty. I don't really know what that's going to lead to, but I completely almost forgot about this character because there's like 10,000 characters to keep track of. But really interesting that he's right here and what could potentially happen if he gets rid of her spirit beast, because, you know, then she's going to be very susceptible to assassination. If there's an alliance going on with her and Karapika's group, just chaos can ensue there. So there's one thing that's happening that I thought was interesting. Then it also cuts to the third prince, Zhang Li, and of course, it's Tagashi. So we're introducing another brand new concept into a chapter where he pulls out basically this disease, this like manufactured disease, which is not a Nen ability. It's an actual like biological weapon. And he's planning to poison Prince Hulkenberg. And Hulkenberg is my boy. All right. I don't know if you guys remember from years and years ago now, when I was first reading the Succession War arc, I tried to pick my character to win, like which character do I like the best, and I'm going with Hulkenberg, man. Hulkenberg is my boy. All right, I'm team Hulkenberg all the way. I know he won't make it to the end, but he's my boy. All right, I felt a very strong connection to Hulkenberg, and the moment where he went in and confronted his father and tried to take himself out, you know, and then just decided, all right, well, apparently I can't die, so I'm gonna fucking win, you know. So I loved Hulkenberg's character. So, you know, Zhang Li, you're on my shit list right now, all right? But he's got this disease that I guess if he can poison the target, it simulates just kind of like a sickness or like a flu, and, you know, the target eventually dies. And he's hiding this within his boot. He has a bunch of vials of it, so if this got loose also, I mean, because we need more plot threads going on, like, he has a couple of different vials here, so if this got loose on the ship, or somebody else got a hold of it, or if Zhang Li died and somebody discovered this, this is like a whole other thing that could potentially happen, is this like biological warfare, right? Now, let's see. I'm just kind of going to go in order of the chapter here to not get too confused. And then it goes to Prince Tserriednich, which is interesting to see that he's been held up in his room and training. And, you know, I think that every bit of progression with Tserriednich has pretty much just been to show us this guy is the most fucking powerful threat that we have right now. Like, it shows that he is in a state of Zetsu, but his Nen Beast continues to get stronger, and while being in Zetsu, he's still doing physical activity, running on a treadmill, he's playing video games. He's playing video games at the same time, he's multitasking, he's smart, he's competent, he's intelligent, he's powerful, his Nen keeps growing, he's got, like, the time manipulation Nen ability too. Just, there's so many things happening with him, and this just continues to confirm that. And it also confirms that one of the bodyguards is the one of the offspring of Beyond Netero that was revealed in the last chapter. He mentions that he's known Nen since birth, so that would definitely be kind of confirmation that yes, all of this is going on. And it also leads me to suspect that Theta, the bodyguard that was training him in Nen, is probably also one of Beyond's children, which is probably also why she's so proficient in Nen. She's probably had it from birth too, but that's just a theory. That's not in the chapter itself. Then we get to the real bulk of the chapter, which is the Melody, Kacho, Fugetsu stuff. All right, so to recap, okay, Kacho and Fugetsu were like the twin siblings, and they planned this great escape, but unfortunately in the process, Fugetsu did not get to escape. Kacho did and died because if they go too far beyond the ship, they die and they're taken out of the succession war. They're not allowed to escape. But Fugetsu's Nen spirit beast took on the form of Kachu and is now, and Fugetsu thinks that that is actually her sister. But everyone else thinks Kacho is dead, and Kacho is actually dead. Kacho is actually literally dead. But Fugetsu thinks that everyone thinks that she's dead and she's actually alive, but it's actually her Nen spirit beast that's taking on the form of Kacho in order to help protect Fugetsu. Yes, and that's just one of the princes. Now, adding to all of that, Fugetsu seems to have been poisoned in some way, but not with the type of poison that was introduced in the beginning of this chapter. It's more of a Nen poison. So it's a Nen poison, not a biological poison. Okay, and I always theorized that this was the beginning of the curse of the Untouchables because the second prince, why did I forget her name? Second prince Camilla has a bunch of the Untouchables working for her where they have to kind of continuously think negative thoughts about their target and then eventually show themselves in front of their target, kill themselves. I don't know if I could say that on YouTube. And then a curse will kill the target as well. So I always thought the negative Nen kind of like spiritual curse that was going on with Fugetsu was like the building of the untouchable curse. That was always my theory, but it seems like that is not the case because we have Kacho, which is the actual Nen spirit beast pretending to be Kacho, interacting with Melody and the other bodyguard, and she seems to suspect that it's Prince Luzurus, all right, that put on the kind of spell or curse or whatever this is, and they want to take him out because of that. Now, that could be true, although when you see Luzurus, he seems very nonchalant, like he doesn't care. And he's always kind of been the prince that's like, I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm just going to sit here and smoke my hookah and, talk to the mafia. So, it's a good life. But, so they come up with this plan to kill Luzurus, and it's actually a really good plan. It's really good. It has so much dialogue to explain what's going on, but the premise is basically that Fugetsu has her Nen ability where she can kind of open a door and go through a portal to another location. But the condition is she has to have been to that location before, right? So their plan is to put Luzurus through this portal, through the door, and take him to the lifeboats to escape, which was the original plan that killed Kacho, put him on a lifeboat, send him out of the ship, and because he goes out of bounds, he'll die. Which is actually a great plan. You could literally do that to every single prince. You show up, you have Melody play her flute, put them in a trance, you take them through the portal, you put them on a lifeboat, and you just send them out to the ocean, and they just die. That's so ingenious. That's perfect. That is so good. And it's so basic and so simple, but so good. Like TEXTgashi. My God. my man, my hero. It's such a good plan. But because they need to get Lazarus to go through it, they need to get Fugetsu to go into his quarters in order to plant the seed of the trap, because she can only put up a door in places that she's been before. So she has to go to see Lazarus in order to make sure she can put a door there, right? But to not make it look so suspicious, she goes to visit each and every prince that she can that will allow her to see them. And the whole thing is like she's giving them a letter, like Kacho's final letter, which of course is fabricated. But Kacho did actually die. So it's like, so yes, Kacho did actually die, but Fugetsu's like, let's make a fake letter. And it is a fake letter, but from the spirit beast that's taking on the form of Kacho, as opposed to the real Kacho. So there's also a lot of little nuances going on here when she visits them all. Like Benjamin seems to be a little bit, kind of concerned about her. And then other princes like Lazarus is just kind of like, yeah, whatever. They can't see Hulkenberg. So, they keep trying. So they got a lot of them. They got, sorry, I got the chapter pulled up here because, trying to remember all this is crazy. But they did manage to go to, let's see, Benjamin. They got him. They got Lazarus, which was their target. And is that it? I could have sworn they saw one more. Okay, so they at least got those two. Maybe there were some more off screen. And Bacho, the guy that writes the haikus, he was able to write one to kind of like basically subdue what's going on with Fugetsu for a little bit. So it doesn't get rid of it, but it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on it. It's kind of like a Nen ibuprofen. It's just like, here, I wrote you this haiku so that you, don't die tomorrow. So it's like, it kind of works for a little bit. So that's pretty cool. And then also Melody is trying to get a letter to Kurapika to help with the situation also. And, I think it's because Melody, her character, like, she doesn't want to kill anybody, right? She doesn't want to have to. So she's trying to get a hold of Kurapika again so that they can kind of all brainstorm and figure out what's going on here. And yeah, that's kind of like the main crux of the chapter. So we kind of catch up with all the princes to some degree. We have this big plan to get Lazarus onto the lifeboat, which I think is brilliant. I think it's brilliant. We have the introduction of a new biological weapon at play. And then also just like little things that are happening, like learning more of Beyond's offsprings. The one guy that's building up a spirit beast for Tebepa. There's all these kind of little things that are happening at the same time while this big plan is being enacted. So yes, chapter 402, crazy, insane, so much going on. And it can be a little bit intimidating and daunting to read at times. But it's so worth it in the end. It's so worth it in the end because this arc, I swear, if this arc ever finishes or sticks the landing, I once said it was going to be on par with Chimera Ant. I really think it might be better if it sticks the landing. If it sticks the landing, because the final third of the Chimera Ant arc is just like the peak of the entire series to me. But if we can get all these kind of moving pieces rolling together and have it really explode into some great final conclusion, I really do think this might be Togashi's best work, The Succession War. Anyways, guys, what do you think of Chapter 402? Let me know your thoughts, theories, opinions down below. Thanks for watching this video. As always, guys, really appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up and a comment to help it out in the algorithm. If you want to support the channel on a deeper level, I have Patreon, channel memberships, merch store, all that stuff linked down below. Thanks as always for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.